A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development, the United Nations Human Rights Chief has publicly condemned the United States military's recent strikes against vessels in the Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific Ocean, which were allegedly transporting illegal drugs from South America. This condemnation marks a pivotal moment in international relations, as it is one of the first times a UN organization has explicitly criticized U.S. military actions in this context. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has called these attacks unacceptable and has urged the U.S. to halt its operations immediately. According to reports, more than 60 individuals have lost their lives in these strikes since the campaign commenced in early September. The spokesperson for Turk, Ravina Shamdasani, emphasized the need for an investigation into these military actions, stating that they violate international human rights law. The U.S. government has justified these strikes as a necessary escalation in the ongoing battle against drug trafficking, with President Donald Trump asserting that they are crucial to stem the flow of narcotics into the United States. However, this justification has sparked controversy and dissent among various nations in the region, particularly those with left-wing governments like Venezuela and Colombia. Critics argue that the U.S.'s approach could be motivated by ulterior motives, including potential regime change in Venezuela. The U.S. Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, announced the latest military strike, which resulted in the deaths of 4 individuals aboard a boat suspected of drug trafficking. This strike was the 14th in a series of operations that have resulted in a growing death toll. Shamdasani pointed out that the use of lethal force in these operations is questionable, as international agreements dictate that lethal force should only be employed as a last resort against individuals posing an imminent threat to life. The UN stance raises critical questions about the legality and morality of the US's military campaign, which appears to operate outside the bounds of active hostilities or armed conflict. Furthermore, the strikes have drawn backlash from various countries, with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum expressing her disapproval and calling for adherence to international treaties. The situation has also strained relations between the U.S. and governments in Latin America, as accusations of U.S. imperialism and interventionism resurface. As the U.S. continues its military operations, the international community watches closely, raising concerns about the implications for human rights and regional stability. The UN's call for investigations into these strikes adds pressure on the U.S. to justify its actions and adhere to international law. The ongoing debate surrounding the effectiveness and ethics of such military interventions highlights the complexities of addressing drug trafficking while respecting human rights and sovereignty. As the situation unfolds, it remains to be seen how the U.S. will respond to the UN's condemnation and whether it will reconsider its approach to combating drug cartels in the region. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.